Now, what is the matrix? The matrix is actually the world. What do I mean? The world is made up of systems. You have governments, you have countries, you have all the way down to schools, you have banks, you have businesses, you have continents, you have alliances, you have families, you have all kinds of subsystems within the system we call the world. In order for you to understand what the world is, it's a two-part process. You need to apply a top and bottom approach. So you need to view the world as a system. However, you also need to understand what your subsystem is. But if you just say the world is a system or the world is the matrix, that's a little bit too abstract. So you have to contextualize what is the world. As we know it pragmatically, the world is our planet. So we have a planet, it's called the Earth. It has land, it has water, it has ecosystems. Okay, that's the natural systems, the weather, the sky, that's the earth. Now we have society, we have men, we have continents, we have countries, we have within those countries, you have government, you have different cultural groups, you have social groups, you have different category of systems. So there are some systems that are bigger than others. So you have systems and so on and so forth, all the way to an individual. It's the matrix. Why is this important? This is important because for you to be able to change levels, for you to be able to get to where you want to be, you really have to understand where you are. And part of understanding where you are is understanding that you are in a system. Whether or not you understand it doesn't matter, you still are in the system. Whether or not you like it, it doesn't really matter. Whether or not you're conscious of it doesn't really apply. The fact of the matter is you are in a system. But it would be nice for you to understand that you're in a system and also understand that this system is actually set up kind of like a game. You as an individual, you need to understand that the matrix surrounds you. You participate in the matrix. You participate in the different sub-matrices, in the different subsystems of the world. Let me contextualize to you. You as an individual probably has an ID card. You probably have a birth certificate. You probably have a credit card or a debit card. You as an individual probably has a job. You're probably earning a living somehow. Legally, illegally, doesn't really matter. You are participating in some part of the system. And so the capacity in which you're participating in the system, that's essentially your user role. And that's kind of what this is all about. So you need to understand that you have a user role, whether or not you realize it or not. And we have multiple user roles at the end of the day. Did you ever consider the fact that if you didn't have a name, if nobody had a name, do you imagine how difficult it would be to communicate? Imagine walking in a room or trying to call someone that doesn't have a phone number. You know the person exists, you know the person is somewhere, but you don't have a way to identify that person. It becomes very difficult. An identifier is so trivial, but it's so fundamental to defining your user role. And typically your user role takes the form of an identifier.